so. And I know that in the last parliament, towards the end, I chaired the devolution committee, and we had a work plan where we said we needed to look at the County Governments Act, look at the Public Finance Management Act and the regulations that pertain to county governments, look at the Public Procurement and Disposal of Assets Act and the regulations that pertain to county governments, look at the NCIC Act on the provisions of ethnicity in county governments, look at the various regulations and circulars that we have issued pertaining to county governments. Mr. Speaker, recently I was dealing with a county that had challenges in ensuring that the ceilings that the Senate had given with respect to expenditure on premises or residences of speakers was concerned. Mr. Speaker, about 4 or 5 years ago, we gave a ceiling of about, I think, 35 million for speakers' residences, 40 million for deputy governors' residences, and 45 million for governors' residences. The reality is that inflation has rendered those ceilings untenable. And Mr. Speaker, we need to come back and look at some of these ceilings that we set up for residences, for headquarters, and I think it's a conversation that should fully occupy the devolution committee, because that is when we'll be doing justice to county governments. Mr. Speaker, I also take note that in this report, the committee has indicated that they got feedback from very important stakeholders, the Council of Governors, they got feedback from the County Assemblies Forum, and they got feedback from the Kenya Law Reform Commission, as well as the Office of the Attorney General. Mr. Speaker, let me talk about the County Assemblies Forum. County assemblies have got legislative power, just like the Senate has legislative power. County assemblies have got oversight powers, just like the Senate has oversight powers. In fact, Mr. Speaker, the power that the Senate has to summon any person is a power that is available to our county assemblies. And that is why I believe that we must have a conversation with the county assemblies. We must strengthen the County Assemblies Forum. We have had some problems with them from an accountability perspective. For example, initially, each county assembly would contribute something like 5 million Kenya shillings every year to go to support the operations of CAF. That brings it to more than 200 million shillings a year. Mr. Speaker, the problem we have had is that that amount is not audited. There is no oversight on it. The conversation we have been having with county assemblies is that if they could petition Parliament, because there's some legislative proposal that is before the National Assembly. This House has already processed it. But we don't know whether it will see the light of day, because even in the last Parliament, a similar proposal was not concluded. If they could petition Parliament in the interim, it would be possible for us to advise County Assemblies Forum and the Society of Clerks at the Table, another body called SOCAT, that it would be okay for member assemblies to contribute, provided that those contributions can be audited by the Office of the Auditor General. That has been the missing link. But if we could build the capacity of the County Assemblies Forum and the clerks who serve in the county assemblies, Mr. Speaker, I believe that the quality of legislation would improve, and I believe that they would have the necessary competence and capacity to petition Senate to amend national legislation. It took the Honorable Isaiah Maina, a member of the County Assembly of Nandi, from Olesosward, to make these proposals via a petition. What if we gave CAF the capacity to look at the landscape, the statute, the regulations, the circulars, and the guidelines, and the policies around devolution, and we commissioned CAF to tell us where the shoe hurts? We can ask the Council of Governors to do so as well. But from what we have seen, they'll be looking at things from the perspective of the governors and from the perspective of the county executive. Mr. Speaker, this petitioner requested that Senate considers a few things that I think are valid. One of them is on accountability of governors to county assemblies. I have not seen very clearly what the chair has proposed, but I think that this is something that is long overdue. There is a county government defined in the Constitution as comprising of the county assembly and the county executive. It is a misnomer, Mr. Speaker, that a governor would take a journey from Meru to come and appear before a Senate in Nairobi, but refuse to appear before the assembly in Meru. Mr. Speaker, it is a misnomer. It is a misnomer. And I do not know where we set that precedent. There was some court ruling in Bungoma that used to be referred to way back in the past. I don't know whether it's still valid. There is no reason why a governor elected to represent the people of Meru, the people of Bomet, or the people of Homa Bay should never be subjected to oversight by the assembly. That the only time they go to the assembly is when they're doing a state of county address or when they're opening the assembly. The problem we have is that we want to equate governors to the President of the Republic of Kenya. In as much as we have 47 county governments, we are a unitary state. We do not have 47 presidents. We have only one president in the Republic of Kenya. The rest are heads of government. It is the name that has changed. They used to be called mayors and chairmen of councils. But today, we have a situation where some imperial mindset has entered the leaders of the devolved units, and they look at county assemblies as small places and members of county assemblies as small people who they cannot be subjected to. And yet, Mr. Speaker, you know, as is in the case of Meru, it was the county assembly that decided who is the governor today. The people decided, but because that governor looked down upon the county assembly and was not doing the things that the assembly had passed, the assembly decided to impeach that governor. If an assembly has the power to impeach a governor, how then can we argue that an assembly has no power to call a governor to appear before it, to respond to financial issues, to respond to issues of statute? Mr. Speaker, if we have not granted that prayer, I would want to recommend to the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee that we rethink it. Governors are not presidents. They are heads of a government that is defined as comprising of the executive and the county assembly. Primary oversight can only happen if the government subjects or submits itself to the county assembly. Mr. Speaker, some of the things we are dealing with on a day-to-day basis that is giving us problems here in Nairobi in Peak and Park, we are oversighting implementation of regulations passed by county assemblies. Most of the funds that my brother Senator Osotsi deals with are funds established by regulations of county assemblies. So Osotsi has to sit with the regulation of the county assembly and ask the governor why the governor is not complying with a law passed by the county assembly. That question, that discussion should be held at the county assembly. And Mr. Speaker, we have seen cases of a few county assemblies that are doing an excellent job. Kakamega County, for example, appeared before us, and they told us that they had already considered and processed the report of the Auditor General for the county executive and for the county assembly of Kakamega. We were happy. We didn't even have to waste time to do another interrogation. We adopted the report of the county assembly and said that we are going to make sure that the recommendations are implemented. Another county assembly that did so was Makueni. And so, Mr. Speaker, in as much as there's this cynicism that county assemblies might not have capacity, we are seeing that capacity progressively coming in. And a county assembly is not just as good as the members. A county assembly is as good as a secretariat that supports them. And so, Mr. Speaker, I do pray that we could reconsider this matter of accountability to county assembly and the proposed amendment to Section 33A of the County Governments Act. Mr. Speaker, Section 32(3) of the County Governments Act talks about assigning the deputy governor executive portfolios. Mr. Speaker, I believe that if I was a governor, I would make my deputy a substantive CEC. Because otherwise, if you're a governor who's a workaholic, who's in the office Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., what then does your deputy governor do? Do they just sit there and wait for you to die and wait for you to be impeached so that they can take over? In fact, they can be so idle that they can start cooking up schemes to have you impeached. I believe that a deputy governor, instead of just sitting there as a flower boy or a flower girl, should have a substantive responsibility within the county. Should we define what it ought to be? Perhaps not, because it should be left to the governor, and it should be left to the professional strength and competency of the deputy governor to have a substantive role. But I see no reason why a deputy governor should be sitting in a county executive committee sitting there just to read newspapers and to praise the governor or to pray for the governor to be impeached so that they can take over. I hope that that prayer on assignment of executive portfolio to deputy governor is a prayer that the committee has affirmed, but I think the petitioner didn't want the deputy governor given executive roles. But I believe that the deputy governor should be given executive portfolios, and that needs to be mandatory. It should not even be at the discretion of the governor. Because if it is at the discretion of the governor, some governors do bad things. They frustrate their deputy governors, and they push them to the point where they are rendered useless, push them to the point where they even resign so that they can be able to appoint the person that they desire. And that appointment is never subjected to the people. The election, initial election of a governor and a deputy governor is competitive. They campaign. They go and seek a mandate. And the people say that these two are going to run this government so that when one is busy, the other one is in place. The minute you then end up with another governor or deputy governor through a process that is not people-centered, Mr. Speaker, there is a problem there. And it's something that we must think through, because even at the national level, the same situation persists. People went into an election, elected a president and a deputy, but today the players have changed. They have not changed through universal suffrage. They have changed through elite consensus. It is a risk to democratic processes. Mr. Speaker, another prayer by the petitioner was on the issue of leave and absence. Mr. Speaker, I think this is important. And I see the committee has given the argument that governors and CECs are state officers and therefore should not be regulated in the manner of public officers. But this is a loophole that has been abused. In West Pokot, in the last parliament, Mr. Speaker, this Senate was called upon several times to advise the county government of West Pokot on the prolonged absence of the deputy governor. The deputy governor for 5 years was absent. And Mr. Speaker, on one hand, I think the governor was happy that the deputy governor was absent, but the people were unhappy because they were paying salaries to an absentee. The story was that the deputy governor went to the US to look for donors, to look for medical equipment, and Mr. Speaker, for 5 years, that deputy governor never showed up in office. Is that acceptable? Should we be paying salaries for such a person? Is that even consistent with the principles and values in the Constitution? Mr. Speaker, Nakuru, just recently, the governor went on maternity leave. And it was very difficult to deal with it, Mr. Speaker, because there was an appointment with the Public Accounts Committee. And the governor wrote that she has gone on maternity leave. What do? Do you ask for doctor's records? Do you ask for evidence of pregnancy? Do you ask for evidence of a child? And Mr. Speaker, I can honestly tell the House that we took it as true that the governor was on maternity leave. I don't know, maybe a male governor will tell us one day when he's supposed to come before PAC that he's on paternity leave. And it will be very difficult to challenge it. And I don't know how long a paternity leave is, because the Governor Moranga, Mr. Speaker, recently wrote that he had a small accident, so his foot was injured, so he's taking medical leave for the duration of the audit period. And so he has handed over power to the deputy governor. Mr. Speaker, this is what these governors are going to do. Because in this phase, they have realized that the Senate is not shaking. The Senate is not being cowed, is not succumbing to their illegal demands. What they will do, because the law then does not treat them as state officers, not subject to the regulations of public officers, what if the governor of Tana River, and I listened to the statement by Senator Mungatana, what if the governor of Tana River decided that he has caught malaria or sesefly, or Nagana caused by sesefly, which I believe is in Tana, and that from January to 31st of March, when he's needed before the committee, is on medical leave. And so it's his deputy that can come. How do we deal with that kind of situation? Mr. Speaker, I think even though governors and CECs are state officers, there must be certain regulations to compel them to be in office, to compel them to attend to important public functions. We know governors who, before the war, were spending more time in Dubai than in their counties. We know governors who are always seen in Nairobi at Serena Hotel instead of the counties that they represent. They only go to the counties when there is an exchequer release. They go, they have a cabinet meeting, they sign up, they come back to Nairobi. We know governors who are always lindering ground somewhere, lindering mwananchi somewhere. They spend out of 7 days, 6 days out of the county. Only 1 day in the county just to come and sign and to make authorizations. Mr. Speaker, we need to regulate it. I believe that it is a matter that is ripe for consideration and ripe for regulation, and we should move away from this argument that these people are small presidents, and therefore what happens to the presidency at the national level is what should happen to them at the county level.
You wish to be informed by Senator Mugatana?
It definitely is my senior. I would wish to be informed.
Senator Mugatana, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I just wanted